That's maybe our third cast here, and that's our first legal trout of the day too, guys. Look at that. All right, we made the right call.
Good morning, guys. Welcome back to see you out there. Welcome back to another Sunday video. We're gonna do something a little bit different today. We're gonna take a different look at a Sunday fishing video. So what we're gonna do today, guys, is I'm gonna show you how I figure out where to fish. Conditions aren't perfect today. It's super windy. The water's really low from a cold front moving through. And I'm gonna show you how I process where to go and what to do in less than perfect conditions. So like I said, guys, it's super windy today. The water's blown out. Conditions are not perfect. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna look at the wind charts, we're gonna look at the tide charts, we're gonna look at the map, and we're gonna make a decision where to go based on conditions. And then as we go through the day, if I make a bad decision, then we'll make another decision together. I'll show you what I'm thinking. I'll explain to you why we're going where we're going and what we're throwing, and we'll talk about fishing in these not perfect conditions. Bluebird skies, cold front, windy, guys. All right, guys, we're on the water. Now let's take a look at what we've got. First thing I like to do is I like to look at the wind direction. The wind direction plays a big key in where I'm gonna fish, especially out of this 17-foot skin. Obviously, I don't want to run across the wide open bay in this boat. It's not the bay boat, so I don't want to take a beating, so I'm gonna launch where it makes more sense. So if you look at the map here, I've got a lot of options where I'm at in my location to launch from. Let's check out this map, guys, take a look. So as you can see, there are many options I have for launching. I can launch on the north end, the south end, the west end, the east end. I can launch wherever I need to and fish safely in the skiff or the bay boat if I take a look at this Wind Finder app or windy.com and figure out where I want to fish. The second thing I want to look at is tide. What is the tide doing? Today is an outgoing tide that's going to bottom out while I'm on the water with a north wind that's already blown several feet of water out of the bay. So I know that the bay is going to be a lot shallower than normal. I know the fish are going to be concentrated in deeper holes. Water temperature 67 degrees. It's not terribly cold today, so the fish aren't going to be hunkered down in 15 foot of water laying in mud hiding. So I'm going to look at that. And the third thing I'm going to look at, guys, is lunar tables. I'm going to look at feeding charts. Do you believe in them or do you not believe in them? That's your thing. I have learned over the last 2 years that these actually do affect feeds, especially around speckled trout. So if you can find the fish and be on the fish around a major feed, you'll find a better bite, especially on speckled trout. I've not found it to really dictate redfish as much. Redfish seem to be a little more opportunistic, but I think that trout and a lunar table, I think there's something to it, guys. So as you can see today on our lunar table, let's take a look at it. You can see that the best bite is 10:50 to about 2 o'clock. It's right now about 10 o'clock. So we're getting on the water about the right time, and the wind is supposed to die all day, as we could tell from our wind charts. So what we're gonna do is go put ourselves in about 3 or 4 foot of water to start near a marsh, and I'm gonna try to find a trout bite. And as the wind dies and the tide bottoms out, I'm gonna try to push back into what water's left in the marsh and try to look for some tailing redfish. Redfish only tail when the water is extremely low. So let's see what we can do now, guys. Let's make a quick run. Let's go see if we can get on some fish. All right, we're to our first spot, guys. I picked an area that's 3 to 5 feet of water. The water is nice and green in the middle of the bay. It's a little bit choppy, but I'm not really worried about the chop. It doesn't bother me that much. But I've got 5 foot of water underneath me. I've got a mix of mud and shell, and we're right at the beginning of our major feed. So we're gonna start out here and we're gonna drift with the wind, casting with the wind at our back, and we're gonna see if we can find some trout. There were a few slicks when I was running out here that were a little bit before I got to this spot. The water looks good and they're mullet jumping, guys. So let's go ahead and get this video started.
All right, guys, let's get this party started. All right, we're gonna start out with the JRZ Pink Passion kicker tail, guys. You haven't seen us throw the kicker tail yet. This is a different product by JRZ. They have the paddle tail, this fun kicker tail, and this Pink Passion color, and then a new design coming out later this year. But we're gonna start out throwing this little bit smaller profile bait on an 1/8 ounce Hoagie twist lock jig head, 10-pound Power Pro braid on our Sustain 3000, our 7.6 Shimano GLF rod. And we're gonna see if the trout are in here. Like I said, I saw a few slicks coming in. The drift is gonna be fast. If we wanna slow the drift down, we can obviously use a trolling motor. But right now I'm just gonna drift it, fish it kind of slow, and see what's out here, see if we can find some trout.
Right, so that's what I was afraid of, guys. First spot, we made a few drifts through here. No bites. There was a couple times I thought a trout may have swatted at it. Water clarity is good. The chop is not that bad. But usually if this place is holding, you know pretty quickly. So what I'm thinking now is I'm gonna run back to somewhere muddier, a little more protected, and see if I can't find a little shell mud mix. I know a spot, a lot of you guys probably know this spot. I'm gonna run back in there, tide's dumping, see if I can find somewhere where the tide is flowing out and fish that outgoing tide back somewhere a little bit more protected. So let's make that run now. And see if we can find some fish back there, guys. So I'm gonna stick with the same color, same style. I don't think lure had anything to do with them not biting here. That pink lure was really pretty in this water. I think we're in the wrong spot. So wind is still blowing. It's supposed to be laying down now, but it is not. You know, you guys looked at the wind with me a little bit earlier. The wind should have been laying down by now. It's still blowing probably 15, 18 miles an hour, maybe gusting to 20. Let's run back somewhere protected and see what happens.
Back in the marsh, guys, and I saw all these birds working. I thought maybe it'd be worth giving it a look. I don't see them working on anything, but they're definitely diving and doing it right. So we're gonna see if maybe there are some trout right out here in the middle. Something's got these birds working. These are mostly lyre birds, little terns that'll kind of steer you the wrong way, but there are some good birds mixed in. So I shut down way early to be able to drift up to them without spooking them and just see if they're on school of trout or something. There we go. Found the birds, a couple casts in it, we got a bite. It feels like a trout. That is awesome, guys. So this is the second place we ran to, and I was trying to get back into the marsh, and then I saw these birds working off in the distance, and what have we found? Is it a school of specks or is it a school of white trout? All right, so that's a speck. He's a little undersized, but it's the first fish of the morning on the Pink Passion JRZ underneath these birds just out in the middle here. So I pinned us down and we're gonna stay here and see if we can continue to catch some of these fish. Yeah, let's see if there's any more in here. That was pretty quick. I missed one that cast before. Very interesting. There we go. There's another small trout. That's actually maybe a little better trout. All right, guys, we found something pretty quick. So all the marsh is dumping out into this little runway, this little ditch here. And these fish are just sitting in here feeding on what's coming out. It's another small speck, probably 12, 13 inches. But they are feeding aggressively, guys, and we are in that major feed. So that explains it. I mean, the fish are feeding, so the major feed is right. The tide's dumping out. The birds gave it away. So all we had to do was run in here and fish it. Let's see if we can catch some more. All right, guys, so we found some trout sitting in that deeper water. And on the way out, I was going to look for somewhere different. I didn't catch any more trout after those two small ones. And I finally found bait. This is the first time I've seen mullet all day today. So the water's like 2 feet deep. It's mixed shell and mud, but there's a lot of bait on this protected shoreline. So all I'm gonna do is set up a drift and give this a look-see and see if there's some trout laying in here. The sun is nice and high. The water should be warming up. It was 64 degrees earlier. It's 61 now. Temperature's actually gone down water temp wise. We're gonna drift this little flat here and see if there's anybody in here sunning. There we go. All right, guys. We pulled in here and found bait. First cast, we got another trout. This fish is probably closer to legal. Still throwing that same pink kicker tail JRZ. Nice little trout. Nothing big today, nothing crazy, but we saw the mullet in here, we pulled in, and right off the bat we get a trout. Water's a little bit cooler, sun's high. We all know that the mud warms up faster than sand or shell. So those fish should be laid up here on this flat, sunning, warm, getting warm, and trying to feed.
All right, guys, real quick, let's talk about what we're throwing today. So you guys know we're working with two tackle companies. We're working with Hooked Up Baits, who we've been with forever, and we're now working with JRZ. So what we're doing is we're kind of running through JRZ's inventory, and we're trying to learn the lures and learn the baits and learn the times and the colors. And the way I kind of work and the way I do things is I'll pick a color and I'll throw it all day, and I'll develop confidence or no confidence in that lure based on what I have. So what I've done today is I picked the JRZ Pink Passion Kicker Tail. So what you'll notice, if you remember our last video, Corey was throwing a plum and chartreuse JRZ that was a longer profile bait that has a paddle tail on it. Well, this is not a paddle tail, this is called the Kicker Tail. It's a smaller profile bait, which I prefer, and instead of it having a paddle tail, it has this long curly tail on it that creates a lot of activity, creates a lot of vibration, and so far today has been incredibly durable. I have not lost one lure today, and I've not had one tail bitten off. So I've caught 3 or 4 trout. I've been out here for maybe 2 hours. So far, this is one of my favorites. Now, I've thrown the plum and chartreuse down in Port Mansfield, smoked the trout down on it. So I've got confidence in that lure. Pearl and chartreuse, you guys all know with Hooked Up Baits, that's my go-to color. So I've got confidence in that. Now, this is the first time I've thrown a kicker bait, or kicker tail. I love a smaller profile bait. I love that 3.5 inch bait. That's my favorite size. So this thing is working really good. I am so far extremely pleased with the kicker tail version of the JRZ lures, guys. So this is something that I want to start doing more. I want to start taking a few minutes each trip and explain to you what I'm throwing. So if you see me go on to a trip and one day and I throw all Hooked Up Baits, all Brad Shad all day, I'm trying to learn that bait. I'm trying to develop a little bit of confidence in it. I'm not much on switching lures a whole lot throughout the day. I just kind of tend to find something that feels right and throw it. But guys, so far, this is an amazing lure. What I want you to notice that's very unique about this lure is as you see the lure and you come down through the kicker tail, at the end of every kicker tail is a small paddle. It's like a small paddle tail at the end of the curl tail. This thing rocks, guys. I'm telling you, there's a lot of movement. There's a lot of vibration that comes off this lure. Every trout I've caught today, you guys have seen it. They have inhaled this. It hasn't been swiping bites. It's been straight up eats. We're gonna fish a little bit longer. We're gonna continue to throw this. And next trip, we'll throw something different, guys. But I just wanted to share with you what I'm throwing today and start introducing you to these lures in a little better fashion, guys. Let's get back to it. Guys, we're back where we started. The wind has calmed down. The water is clear. It's settled out. We're in the middle of the major feed. We're at the bottom of the outgoing tide. So I made the run back from where we're at catching those smaller trout back out here to this 5 foot of water, this deep shell. It is perfect out here right now. I saw a few slicks running out here, a few birds working. I think we're gonna get out here and get on them, guys. So let's see what we can do back at our original spot and see if we figured out the fish today.
There we go. Nice fish on the fall, guys. That's maybe our 3rd cast here, and that's our first legal trout of the day too, guys. Look at that. All right, we made the right call. I knew it once it calmed down. Oh, get in here. I knew once it calmed down and we got in here, these fish would be in here. So let's get this fish unhooked and let's get to wearing them out. Yeah. That's a good fish, 18, 19 inches on that JRZ kicker tail. Inhaled it on the fall. Guys, that is a beautiful fish. Look at that. Look at that fish. That is a healthy, beautiful fish. We're gonna let her go. Yeah, man. All right, go back home, mama. All right, guys, we figured it out. We dialed it in throughout the day. The winds finally did what they were predicted to do. Let's make sure our screen is clean. And the fish are here. That is maybe my 3rd cast here and a solid 18, 19 inch trout on that JRZ kicker tail. So we figured it out today, guys. We did a good job dialing it in, moving around, making the right calls. The weatherman got it right today. It died down a little bit later than expected, but at least it died down. Some days it doesn't even calm down at all, so I am extremely, uh-oh. There's another little bump. See if we can't catch a couple more of those nicer, a little bit thicker trout before we go to the house. Uh-oh, there we go. We caught up to him on the fall. Almost didn't catch up to him to get the hook in him. And she's swimming right at us, y'all. This could be a good trout the way she's staying low. No, it's a little dinker. A little dinker. That's all right. Oh, and it's a sand trout. All right. A little Sandy freaking inhaled that lure. Lord have mercy, she was mad. All right. Beautiful little sand trout. Have a good day, sweetie. We'll see you next go around. Let's clean our screen. Get back to it, guys. I was hoping to get one more really good trout before we head back. There we go, guys. Another one. Another solid trout, too. We knew they'd be here. We just had to bide our time until the winds got right. Come on, get up here. Let me look at you. This fish hasn't even kicked yet. This isn't a trout, is it? Oh, look at that, y'all. It's a sea robin. I don't know if y'all know what a sea robin is, but that, my friends, is a sea robin. I wonder, should we take that guy home and eat him? I am curious. I don't think so. Yeah, we're gonna let him go. That's an ugly little critter. Yeah, we're gonna let you go, buddy. We're not gonna kill you just to eat you. There you go, guys. Sea robin. Not the target species. Let's get this thing turned around and do it again, y'all. There we go. On the fall, another one. I just turned the boat around, guys. That's another solid keeper. On the fall, that kicker tail doing its job. And here we go. Another nice, solid trout. All right, guys, here we go. Another good trout. Come on, get in here. Oh, that's a good fat one too. Look at that, guys. That is another legal trout, guys. Another one. Beautiful trout too. Don't chomp on me, mama. All right, go back. All right. Yeah, we figured it out. All right, guys, we're gonna end it right there. That was a great day. I wanted to do something a little bit different, kind of show you how I process the day and how I look at the weather and where I determine where to launch and where to fish and how the tide and this lunar tables kind of affect that, guys. Just something a little bit different, trying to branch out, do some different videos and get you guys some more creative content. Try to blow the channel up. We really want to explode this channel in 2022, so I'm trying to learn some new editing techniques. I'm trying to come up with some different ideas to give you guys. So if you have any suggestions, comments, or anything, guys, drop it down below. Let me know if you'd like to see something particular. If there's something that we do in our videos that you really like, let me know, guys, so that I can key in on that stuff and continue to grow and continue to get better for y'all. Anyway, guys, thank you very much. Hope you enjoyed the video. The link to those JRZ baits is going to be down in the description, along with a link and a promo code for Hooked Up Baits. I'm really impressed with that kicker tail. I'm really impressed with that pink color. That lure was awesome today, guys. We caught, I don't know, we caught 5 or 6 trout. We caught a robin, sea robin, and we caught a white trout. A good day all in all. It's 2 o'clock. We got on the water at 9. Really good day, really fun time on the water, guys. Again, thank you for everything. We appreciate all the love and support, and we'll see you guys out there. Yo!